Wherever you are in the world, whatever the time of day, this is Worldview with Vince Milum, a program that examines the challenges facing humanity and their origins.
A tragic statistic regarding the prison industrial complex in the United States. According to a new study, whose results were first published in USA Today, half of all Americans have a family member who has been incarcerated. The results of America's perpetually one-sided approach in the Middle East are reflected in these next two stories. According to a new poll, if elections were held today in Palestine, the U.S.-backed government of President Mahmoud Abbas would lose to Hamas. Also in the Middle East, rather than reducing the military footprint of the U.S. as was promised in the last presidential election, the United States has been in an undeclared war in Syria for over a year, with U.S. forces now occupying a third of the country without the consent of the host country. Also in Syria are Russian forces who were invited into the nation by the Syrian government. Given this dual occupation of Syria by nuclear-armed powers siding with separate proxies, the possibility of a confrontation between the two superpowers is more than remote. The U.S. Constitution states that only Congress can declare war, while the War Powers Act limits the President's authority as Commander-in-Chief to commit U.S. forces for only 90 days without a congressional authorization. It would appear both of these legal restrictions are being violated, but neither the American Congress nor the American media seem interested in objecting. On a related note, in the Asia Pacific, the United States has begun constructing a new military base in Okinawa, despite the strong objections of the local population who are demanding that all U.S. forces leave the island. And finally, a federal judge in Texas has declared the Affordable Care Act to be unconstitutional on technical grounds concerning its mandate that all Americans purchase health insurance. The ACA is sometimes referred to as Obamacare and has been seen as a highly partisan matter since its inception.
Worldview with Vince Milum, Epilogue. About 6 hours after the original publication of this program, wherein Vince Milum addressed both the illegality of America's participation in the Syrian war and the potentially cataclysmic consequences, the U.S. government formally announced that it was withdrawing all American troops from Syria. To stay up to date on Worldview with Vince Milum, be sure to check out Vince's Twitter feed at Reasoned Mind.